Welcome to Uncaged Zootours. If you are new to the channel and love animals, I would highly recommend hitting the like and subscribe buttons and the bell icon to join me on my tours. We're back at one of the most underrated zoos in the country, the denverzoo. Of course, we already saw one of America's largest lion collections and their playful penguins at the African Penguin Point and Benson Predator Ridge. But my friends, we're heading to the northern part of the zoo to visit the main highlight of our visit, Toyota Elephant Passage. Thank you for voting! Opened in 2012, this groundbreaking exhibit showcases one of America's largest elephant exhibits. There's a lot to talk about, even though there are only 11 animals. Along with the elephants, there's a cute surprise and animals that I've always wanted to talk about. I can't wait to talk about this exhibit, so let's stop right in. Our adventure begins across from the hippo. Besides, our first animal is also a pachyderm. Say hello to the Malayan Tapir. It may look like an anteater or an elephant, but the tapir is related to horses and rhinos.
Why do some people call them an anteater?
I guess the confusion comes from their snout. Like elephants, tapirs can use their nose like a snorkel to help them breathe underwater. The Malayan tapir can also walk around on riverbeds like a hippo. But today, the tapir was asleep. Besides, Malayan tapirs are more active at night, but sometimes you can see them using their snout to eat food. The zoo is home to two tapirs, Rhino, and one of the zoo's newest additions, Johnny, who recently came from the Minnesota Zoo. Just beyond the exhibit's main entrance is a peaceful lake. On some visits, you might see the channel's first Indian rhinos. Unlike their African cousins, Indian rhinos have folds all over their bodies that look like armor, and only have one horn. The Indian rhino loves to swim to avoid the heat and flies, but as the Indian rhino is endangered, they need all the help they can get. Indian rhinos are shot and killed every year for their horn, which is on high demand for medicine. But a rhino's horn is made of keratin, just like our hair and nails. And no, a rhino's horn contains no medicinal value. As of 2022, the zoo is home to 3 Indian rhinos. There's male Bondu, female Tensing, and her daughter Juna, born in 2020. Juna was the first Indian rhino in the zoo's history to be born following artificial insemination. We're not the only ones who can see the pachyderms. Overlooking the pachyderms are white-cheeked gibbons. Say hello to male Briscoe and female Vin. Unlike most primates, gibbons search for food during the day. Remember back in episode 9 when I said these gibbons have long arms for swinging? The gibbon also has hook-like hands to help them remain suspended in the trees.
But what if a predator threatens the gibbons?
White-cheeked gibbons can signal aggression by baring their teeth when the predator gets too close. Don't worry, my friends, gibbons are mostly peaceful around humans. Gibbons must worry about birds of prey, leopards, and pythons. Across from the gibbons and rhinos is a small exhibit for a big bird. The saurus crane is the world's largest crane, and in parts of Asia, they represent good luck. Saurus cranes are also monogamous, which means they mate for life. Before mating, saurus cranes engage in a series of dance moves to strengthen their bond. They flap their wings, bob their heads, leap, run around with their wings flapping, and even fly, making loud trumpeting calls. Speaking of calls, saurus cranes have the loudest call of any crane. But these two didn't feel like dancing today, so let's move on. Now it's time to meet the channel's first Asian elephants. Asian elephants are smaller than their African cousins. They also have smaller ears, which are shaped like India. Asian elephants also have a twin domed head with a little notch in the middle. An Asian elephant's trunk only has one finger at the tip. Finally, only the males have tusks. What do they have in common? Well, all bull elephants go through a period called must. Bull elephants lose a lot of weight for 2 to 3 months a year and prefer to live alone. Male elephants can also be aggressive. Their temporal gland drains a bitter fluid called temperin. Bull elephants also mark their territory by, urinating. No more toilet humor. I'm trying to keep it PG here. Basically, must means that the elephant is healthy enough to start a family. Speaking of males, the zoo is home to 5 bull elephants. Like the Birmingham Zoo, it is one of the only zoos in North America that can house multiple bull elephants. I said earlier that you might see the rhinos on some visits. Well, that's because the rhino exhibit is one of 5 flex habitats for them, the elephants, and even the tapirs. And yes, you can view the elephants from inside their house. It's worth noting that one of the elephants, Billy, came from Belgium's Antwerp Zoo in 2013. We'll get back to the elephants in a few minutes. But first, I have some more surprises to showcase. In the village hall, there's an aviary for Admiral, the great hornbill. Please keep your voices low. Hornbills can get stressed easily. Great hornbills are also known for their horn on the top of their beak called a casque. The casque helps amplify their calls. But sadly, Admiral is alone. But great hornbills also lack the short feathers that other birds have. As a result, great hornbills can be loud flyers. Admiral's neighbors live in 2 smaller terrariums. Both exhibits are home to green tree pythons. By the way, green tree pythons are the most arboreal of the world's pythons. Across from the hornbills and pythons are fishing cats. I mentioned in episode 4 that the fishing cat loves water, but they usually hunt for fish in shallow water. The fishing cat can tap its paws on the water's surface to trick fish into thinking that an insect is nearby. When the fish gets close enough, the cat will dive right in and grab the fish with its mouth. To stay warm, the fishing cat has a layer of short and dense fur. It also has a second layer of fur that's great for camouflage. The denverzoo is one of the only zoos to house adult fishing cats on exhibit. There's Ronaldo and his son, Miso-chi, who was born in 2017. Next door is another terrarium for a black-breasted leaf turtle, and it looks like they were pretending to be a leaf, so let's move on. Across from the turtle is a long exhibit. For another reason you're watching this video, say hello to Boo and Pintar, the Asian small-clawed otters. Unlike the North American river otter, the Asian small-clawed otter has partially webbed feet and short claws that they can use to catch slippery fish. They are also the smallest of the 13 otter species. Recently, Boo gave birth to a baby otter named Jai, who was born on July 1st, 2022. After a 6-week gestation period, an otter pup is born with its eyes closed. Otter pups spend their first few weeks of their life nursing. Then, 40 days later, they open their eyes. And when they are 10 weeks old, the pups begin to explore the world. When the pups are 80 days old, they begin to eat solid foods. When the pups are 3 months old, they can swim. And 3 months later, the pups leave the family. The last indoor exhibit is another habitat for another pachyderm pal. Don't worry, we'll get back to the elephants later. Across from one of the elephant habitats is another cool cat, the clouded leopard. The clouded leopard may be the smallest big cat, but they have the largest canine teeth of any other cat by size ratio. And with those teeth, clouded leopards can kill prey with a bite to the back of the neck. On my first visit, I was lucky to hear this. No need to brag. It is worth noting that clouded leopards have a hyoid bone in their throat that helps them purr. But like the cougar, they can't roar. Despite their name, the clouded leopard is in its own genus, Neofelis. Basically, they're a combination of big and small cats. Let's head back to the elephants. Two of the flex habitats are connected by a bridge, and you might see an elephant walk over your head. But one of the habitats continues all the way to the okapis. This habitat also has an amphitheater, where at 12 o'clock and 1:45 on certain days, you might learn about the zoo's elephants, and you might be lucky enough to see them swim. When it's hot, elephants can walk into a river to cool down. Using their trunk as a snorkel, they can stay in the water for hours. Elephants can also use their massive body as a raft to keep afloat. Performing on my visit was Jake. Like Billy, Jake came from an international zoo. In October 2018, he and his half-brother Chuck came from the African Lion Safari Park in Ontario, Canada. With their arrival, the denverzoo's herd became the world's largest bull elephant herd with 5 bulls. This area may be the highlight of your visit, my friends, but there's still more fun at the Denver Zoo to be had. In the comments, vote for the next exhibit you would like to see. Would you like to take a quick stroll to Harmony Hill, where we'll meet the channel's first grizzly bear, Primate Panorama, which features the zoo's impressive primate collection? Or would you like to visit the Edge and Northern Shores, where you can see playful sea lions and roaring tigers? Stay tuned, thank you for subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching!